Hey, family, welcome to the Daylight Experience. So, the first thing I want to talk to you about is living in the shadows. Yeah, that's part of my story. Is that for a long time I lived in the shadows. I did not want the light to be shining on me. I didn't want people to see what I was experiencing, what I was going, that part of my life that I truly was embarrassed of, that where I was hurting, almost damn near dying on the inside. And so, um, when you look at it, because I'm daylight, it only makes sense for me to say that, yeah, I was living in the shadows because I was ducking and dodging. I was hiding. I chose not to be seen. And even when I did try to be heard, I wasn't at all. So that was a hard time, a terrible spot to be in when you're living in the dark, living in the shadows, and it's almost like you're watching your life pass you by. Little. I remember the very moment everything changed. So I was already separated, and but he was still calling, we was still talking, he was still wanting to fix. And in my mind and in my heart of hearts, I knew it was too much water on me. It was broken and just could not be fixed. And it took me a minute to admit that to myself or anybody else. And so, but I was preparing for a procedure, a medical procedure, and I was already nervous about it. And I remember having to prepare and taking some meds. And, I got two daughters that work at night, and, I'm making sure they get where they need to go. And I'm working a full time job. And then you blowing up my phone and you drunk. And so I remember saying, listen, I'm trying to get ready for this medical procedure. The medicine is making me sick. My nerves are shot. I can't deal with this and you. I can't. So I need you to chill, go do what you do, enjoy yourself, and let me have a moment to just take care of me, to go take care of this procedure. And, just that's all I ask. Just let me have the rest of this night. Tomorrow gonna be what tomorrow gonna be. But let me just get through tonight. Let me take these meds. Let me get ready for this procedure. Because mind you, I got to be at the doctor's office at like 6 a.m. So, needless to say, I didn't get any peace. As you continue, you went from the house phone to the cell phone at that time. And you would call one, you call the other, you hang up, you call back, you hang up. And so my nerves are just shot. And I remember getting to the doctor's office the next week, so freaking tired that I couldn't even think straight. The lady was, as I was filling out paperwork, I had to start over because I filled it out wrong. Because I couldn't focus. And I remember saying, yeah, I can't do this no more. And I remember when, and I don't even know whether when you go under, are you still thinking, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I came from under anesthesia and I was in the, what is it? The, recovery room. I remember saying in my head, done. Because had I been truly sick, had this been an emergency situation, you wouldn't have been no good to me. You wouldn't have been able to help me. You wouldn't have been able to help my girls. You wouldn't have been no good to me at all. And in this moment, I said, you are absolutely, positively dead weight. I got enough weight of my own. I don't need yours too. And so we talked to the doctor afterwards. And I remember my daughter and I leaving. And when we got in the car, she said, you need to stop anywhere. You want to get your prescription? I said, yeah. I said, but you know what? The first thing I want to do is I need you to take me to the phone place. And she was like, what? And I said, yeah. So we went to the phone place. And even as tired as I was, I stood in that line and waited. I changed my number and I went home. And I remember he called on the home phone and I said, this is the last time I will ever talk to you. You are absolutely no good for me. You're not good for me and you're not good to me. I can't do this no more and I'm not going to. This is a wrap for me. And he proceeded to say how he was going to tell people this and he was going to tell people that. And he had all these bad things that he was going to tell them. And you know what I said? Tell this story any way you want to tell it. I don't even care. But at the end of when you finish telling all them lies, just make sure you tell them that it's over. That's all I need you to do. Is tell them that it's over. And I mean, it was, I went to bed. When I got home, I woke up. There were over 100 calls on my caller ID on the house phone because, mind you, I got a new cell number, so you can't call me no more. But what I could tell you was there was a peace like no other. I was in a good place. So as I began to explore this new freedom, and I decided, okay, the next step is you got to file for divorce. But, you got to take it in steps. You don't just jump out there and jump in the middle of the pool. And, so I got to know, I got to get my money right. I got to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, all of that. So, but in the meantime, I got some freedom now. The shackles fell off. So now I got to figure out, okay, where do I go from here? There were things that I used to do that I had stopped doing and I still enjoyed doing. But I didn't do them because